Good evening and welcome to the Whisky Lovers Society with me, Gert Retief, and tonight we are looking at a Irish whiskey, a yellow spot. Now, this is only going to be the second spot that I have tried, and the first one, of course, was the green spot, and as you can see, quite an enjoyable whiskey, and definitely something that I always go back to, especially if you want to use it in a cocktail. I think the green spot is that lightness of it. And I think the correct name for it was the green spot. They have that little appley note, that lightness, that friendliness, something that I enjoy. And of course, bottled at 46% ABV, natural color, non-chill filtered. So they are really ticking the boxes. But tonight we are looking at the yellow spot, 12 years old, 46% ABV. And of course, they are matured in all of the three casks that I like, ex-bourbon cask, ex-sherry cask, and of course ex-Malaga cask. Well, what is that? It is fortified wine. What is that? It is something that is bloody sweet, and it is something that is a dessert wine, and it is something, well, it falls for me in that same category of the sherry and the Pedro Jimenez, the sweet, and definitely something that I like in a whiskey. So quite looking forward to nosing and tasting this one. Or which one I prefer, maybe the green spot or the yellow spot. Of course, there's more spots to be tried, so quite looking forward to trying and source some of the other spots to see which one is the best for me. And of course, before I start, please remember to like, share and subscribe. It costs you nothing, and of course it helps the channel. And of course, the more you watch, more ad revenue you get, and that ad revenue goes straight to kids in South Africa to ensure that they have something to eat. It's not much, but every cent counts. So the yellow spot. And price-wise, I'm not sure how much it's going to cost in your region or your country, but here it will be 76 euros here in France, where I bought a sample. Didn't pay a lot for the sample, so quite grateful for the opportunity to actually try it. And of course, try before you buy is always a good policy. So color-wise, it is really a nice dark golden color, touching on the amber. There is a little bit of a viscosity, a little bit of a slow legs forming and going slowly down the glass. Hopefully you can see that. So there is a little bit of an oiliness to it. And of course, the oiliness for me is always a good thing. It just sticks to the mouth and it gives you a little bit more of that lovely notes that you always look for in a whiskey. So on the nose, cheers. Now this is a fantastic one for me anyway. Now, I sometimes get a lot of comments of people saying that I really didn't enjoy that whiskey. I'm a little bit surprised that you loved it. Well, I can tell you, each person does have a different preference in whiskey. So, well, if you don't like something, it's okay. You don't have to like everything. But for me, I have a certain profile, and this is definitely ticking the boxes with the profile. Now, it does not for me have to be always that big sherry influences, that Pedro Jimenez, that darkness, that Christmas cake in a glass. Now, this one is definitely that sherry cask, I think, was standing at the back of the line. It's not having a huge influence, but what I do get, what a big influence, is that bourbon cask, that lovely light toffee notes coming through, that vanillas are there. There's a little bit of a chocolate note, a light chocolate, a little creme brulee type of note, a creamy note on the nose. And it is a lot lighter than expected. Now, I can only presume the sherry cask was not really a one of those wet casks. I think it was a little bit more of an afterthought, but that sweetness of that dessert wine, the Malaga dessert wine, definitely also shining through, not competing with the bourbon cask, but coexisting and working together to give you a light, friendly note. Now, I must say that I have enjoyed a couple of Irish whiskies over the last 3 years that I really enjoy, and not a single one disappointed me. And I always find something nice and special when it comes to the Irish whiskey. And of course, I have to, well, my old friend Al, so sad that he passed away. He had a big influence in me trying different Irish whiskies, and I was always grateful for his input with regards to that. And of course, this one is for you, Al, Whiskey Straight Al. Thank you very much, my friend. So that vanilla keeps on getting a little bit stronger for me. A little bit of a hint of a toffee apple. A little bit of an apple cider note coming through as well. A little more summery than that sherry cask would have suggested. So quite like it on the nose. On the taste, cheers. Ooh, this is going to be quite a dangerous one. It's lovely light. It's sweet. That vanilla's coming through. A little bit of an appley note. Maybe a little maybe a little bit of a Chinese pear. Very sweet pear note. That little toffee note is there. A little bit of a caramel note, well, quite similar to each other, but a light one, not something that is a little bit dark. It's well balanced, and I think this is something that, of course, I'm not going to add water to this one. It is just fantastic from nose to taste. One thing that I did notice is if it stands a little bit, it feels like everything gets toned down and you need to wake it up a little bit. And when you're hit with all these lovely flavors from nose to taste. Really something that I enjoy. Now that's something, 12-year-old, 70 odd euro. Is that worth the price? It's getting to a little bit to the upper tier of my comfortable zone. It is a little bit expensive. But to be honest, if I was a person that buy once a month or every 2 months a bottle of whiskey, definitely going to be on the list. Just because of that friendliness, that flavors that is just light enough. Summertime whiskey, wintertime whiskey, a whiskey that you can drink at any time. You're not going to spend hours on it. You're going to pour it, drink it, enjoy it, and just have fun with it. Definitely something I would recommend. Now, I did pour myself the green label as well. This one, a generous sample, maybe a little bit too generous. You can see a little bit of a difference. The 12-year-old yellow spot has got a little bit more color to it. But for me, the green spot, that good name suggesting green apples for me, the lightness, that crispiness, the green note is definitely there, loads and loads of green apple. And on a taste, oh, it just is nice. Now for me, the yellow spot, I think it's got a little bit more depth in flavor. It's a little bit more vanillus in the toffees, where the green spot is a little bit more of that fruity notes that comes out. Which one do I pick? Oh, it's going to be difficult. Oh, they are so drinkable. They are so nice, both of them. If I have to pick one, well, today only, definitely for me today. I might change my mind in a day or two, but today this yellow spot is definitely hitting the spot for me. It's a little bit more, the flavors are a little bit more intense, a little bit more that you get in this one. I love the youthfulness of the green spot, and I like the complexity, not overly complex, but a little bit more complex than the green spot. So that is my choice. The yellow spot, 12-year-old, 46% ABV with the bourbon, and of course the sherry butts, and of course the Malaga fortified wine cask. Good combination. What do you think? Drop me a comment. Which spot is the best spot for you? And of course, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And I see you next time. Cheers.